Awesome. Awesome. So awesome. Well, welcome to Coffee Connect, everybody. I'm Roddy. I'm the host here. We got some amazing information to share. If you enjoy the conversation, I cannot express enough to shoot me an email at ccinfo@addictedtoconnecting.com. I'm happy to add you to the email list so that you can continue to get the invites, continue to know what the topics are, right? And definitely stay in touch with the entire group of folks that are here, right? And then, as always, guys, I like to emphasize that one of our goals this year was to heighten the awareness of all of our videos and stuff. I think we're slowly making some progress there, but you can look back at all the playbacks, right? I know when Dalbar first came in, he looked at a lot of the playbacks, and that's what kind of got him interested in coming here and stuff. But if you go to the website, www.addictedtoconnecting.com, you'll see the 3 most recent videos, but also if you click on them, it'll take you to the YouTube channel where you can click the last couple years worth of Coffee Connect episodes and stuff. And so if there's a topic you're looking for or something that you're specific about, right, whether it be referrals or networking or using AI or whatever, right, it's probably on there somewhere, right? So jump on there, check out the links, right, and help us build our YouTube presence as well, guys. So as I said earlier, Diane has some amazing things for us to share. And we're going to talk about this. I think this is so important, right? Our mind is so powerful, right? And she was studying some stuff and she was learning some new things and she was wanting to share with us. And so I thought it was a great opportunity for her to come on and really just share with us some of the lessons she's been learning. And last week she shared the book that she's been getting some of the foundational efforts from. Hopefully you guys like myself, I had a 4-hour drive up to Lorraine this past week to close on a loan, but I took the advantage of listening to the audio during that time, right? So I've got a little bit of a taste for hopefully what she's going to present today. Without any further ado, please give it up for Diane Kinsella.
Good morning, everyone. I'm thrilled to be here with you. For those of you who don't know much about me, I am an International Coaching Federation certified coach with areas of career and resiliency and life coaching under my belt for about 16 years. And while I retired at the end of May last year, this old bag of bones is not done learning. So in April of this year, I started a year-long program that is called Neuroscience, Consciousness, and Transformational Coaching. And it is a study of how our brains work and how we can use them more consciously to accomplish our goals more easily and to be a better version of ourselves, which is what I'm all about, the continuous improvement project. So at the very fundamental level, the very basic, the way our brains work is through neuronal pathways. That's how we think. And the neuron fires and it goes to the next one and the next one and the next one. Some of those pathways get really well developed and are easily used, and they become our superhighways. Those are our primary ways of thinking about the world. Those that are not used as much are kind of like dirt and gravel roads. But here's the really good news for everyone in this room. The new research says that old research was they're fixed. You're done. By the time you're 20, you're pretty well established and it ain't going to change. The new research shows us that it is absolutely possible to build new neuronal pathways in our brains, and that is called neuroplasticity. And we can turn dirt roads into superhighways with the right tools. So the first tool I want to show, I will share with you my screen. And this is a loaded image with lots of meaning. I'm only going to go through it briefly so that we can get into a discussion about the left and right hemispheres of our brains. So our first quarter was all about can you see my pretty colored chart?
Yep.
Awesome. Okay, so the first quarter was all about prefrontal cortex, the thinking brain, and the limbic brain in the back, fight, flight, freeze, and the amygdala hijack. This quarter is all about the left and right hemispheres. So these are 7 levels of personal, group, and organizational effectiveness. And we start at the bottom with hopelessness. No one much likes to be there, but that is where shame and dispiritedness reside. Level 2 is fear, which is anxiety and craving. And level 3 is frustration. When you see this, where the 2 shaded sections meet, that's everything 1, 2, 3 is what we call below the line. That is where we are not functioning optimally. Once we can get to courage, we have started to engage the prefrontal cortex, and we're starting to leave the limbic brain behind. And so the thing about courage, which is bravery and resolution, that I find fascinating is that even crying is considered courage. So you start to move above the line. Then you get to engagement, which is motivation and tolerance, and then innovation, which is objectiveness and openness to considering new things. And then finally, synchronicity, love, and harmony. So that's, let me just pause. If there are any questions there, stick them in the chat. And I can answer those, but I'd rather see your faces. So I'm going to stop that screen share. So above and below the line are the key takeaways there for what you need to know for what we're going to do. Now I want everybody to unmute, and we're going to do a round of popcorn answers. What do we know about the left and right hemispheres of our brain?
I've heard that left-handed people use more of their right hemisphere than their left.
Not entirely
Only
true.
left-handed people are in their right minds.
Yeah, right. That's saying.
Okay, what else do we know about the left and right hemispheres?
Broca's and Wernicke's area are on the left area by the ear. That's the language processing parts.
Okay,
And generally, left-handed people are more creative.
okay. Anything else we know about the spheres or hemispheres specifically?
One is more logical, the other is more rational.
You're on the right trajectory.
One's more logical, one's more creative.
Correct. So let's do an exercise that will just illustrate this. And you have to do it too. I'm not the only one. So take your index finger and put it up against your nose and look at your finger and tell me what you see, aside from crossed eyes.
Blurriness.
The only thing you can see is that finger. Everything in the background goes away. That's the gift of the left hemisphere. It's all about structure, focus, direction. It filters everything out. It's sequences, focusing on parts and analysis. Now, if you hold your finger out here, away from your face, and you look at your finger, what do you notice?
Everything.
You can
Everything.
everything. And that's the gift of the right hemisphere, which we call freedom. So that's where cooperation, seeing the whole, focusing on broader meaning and empathy reside. There's much less evidence that left-handed people access the right hemisphere more, or vice versa. What we used to think is that you are left hemisphere or right hemisphere.
Yeah.
What we now know is that everyone tilts to one side or another, but that we use both, and that the translation, the balancing each other, the communication goes through the part of our brain called the corpus callosum. Both hemispheres speak to and mitigate each other through the corpus callosum. So as we seek to develop as humans, we can and need to build the fibers of the corpus callosum to be better able to shift and access the gifts of each hemisphere. So remember the above the line and below the line, below being hopelessness, fear, and frustration. When either hemisphere is over calibrated, we shift to below the line. And in the left hemisphere, below the line is rigidity, anger, blame and denial, conformism, using people for our own gain and denying evidence. When we shift below if we're a right-leaning hemisphere person, we go into chaos. There's so much information. We can't filter any of it out. We're taking it in from all the senses and everything. And that's where hopelessness, emotional overwhelm, sadness, fear, and pessimism reside. The key difference between the two hemispheres is not what they do, but how they filter information or how they see the world. The right sees the whole and has a difficult time filtering. The left sees the parts and has a very difficult time understanding the whole. So with that, I would like to invite everyone to breakout rooms. And if you don't know each other, certainly introduce yourselves, but then talk amongst yourself. Which hemisphere do you naturally tilt toward? The left or the right? And we'll see you back here in 10 minutes.
Awesome. I've got them opened up. I will see you guys back here shortly. It is all you, Diane.
Yeah, I'm finding the right buttons. Here we go. So did anybody have any challenge in identifying which hemisphere you lean towards? Cameron, unmute yourself. I want to hear about this.
Uh-oh.
I believe in your explanation, you said that when you get into negative mood swings at times, if you're left or right, you have these certain characteristics, correct?
Mm-hmm.
All those characteristics for my mood swings kind of come to play at once to a degree. Maybe one is missing in each branch, if you will. So that's kind of makes me lost in differentiating which side I may lean on.
Sure. And that's perfect. Thank you. So what I neglected to say earlier is among those 7 levels, you go up and down all day long, and it can be specific to your life. So for example, in a job search, you can be feeling kind of hopeless, but in your family life, you can be feeling synchronicity, love, and harmony. So you can go back and forth. We access both hemispheres all the time. My follow-up question for you, Cameron, would be, it is more likely to be situational when you're below the line related to a topic, which would then indicate which hemisphere you're working in right then. Does that make some sense?
Yeah, I'll have to definitely sit on that. Maybe even meditate it.
Well, you do that.
Appreciate you, Diane. One last question. Is this implemented on a business level? I saw like organizational efficiency. Could you, if you have some time, I'm not sure if you had planned on mentioning that, but if you have some time, could you embellish? kind of clarify how that could work?
We can talk about that, yes. And I'll come back to that later. So if I forget, remind me. I also want to demonstrate just one of about 40 tools I'm learning this year with Rodney. Rodney has agreed to be the guinea pig and the coaching client today. And I have asked him to think about an issue or a challenge, whether it's personal or professional, where he is below the line in hopelessness, fear, or frustration. And so we'll start there. Rodney, you game?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about the issue where you are feeling below the line.
So the situation, obviously, we're getting ready to take our youngest to college tomorrow. There are things coming up always at the last minute that we often question: is he prepared? Is he ready? Have we done everything we can do, right? And there's only so much that you can control as parents. I think that's what has us not only frustrated but feeling hopeless in the sense that we're not going to have the control. And of course, most of you, especially those of you that have adult age children, know that once they get to 18, all these other organizations are like, well, they're 18. I can't talk to you anymore. Right? I know you're their parent, but you're 18. And that just frustrates me too, I think, and just adds to the chaos that's involved with everything. So,
Sure. So now I've asked Rodney also to draw a teeter-totter. So you've got a fulcrum and a teeter-totter. And the way to draw it is I heard you say chaos. So that is on the right side of your teeter-totter. And how far down into chaos would you say you are, as opposed to rigidity? So the line needs to go back and forth depending upon which side you're down low on and how far down you are. So you could be all the way like this, or you could be all the way like that, or somewhere in between.
and so I had this. I did exactly what you did. But I added a number line to each one of them, going out to 10, meaning 10 to chaos and 10 to rigidity.
Okay, that's cool.
And I've got me at a 7 for chaos.
Okay. That's pretty cool, and that's pretty significant. Yeah.
Yes.
It's feeling a little overwhelming. So the exercise we're going to do is called bringing in the minions. Does everybody know Minions, the movie?
Me.
Banana.
Okay, so I don't know the movie, but they're superheroes. So you can substitute your own superhero to any degree that you would like. But we'll talk about them in terms of minions. And so while Rodney is below the line at a 7 on the side of chaos, which is hopelessness, emotional overwhelm, sadness, fear, pessimism, it sounds like a pretty rotten place to be. And that is the over-calibrated right hemisphere that takes in everything, all inputs, and has taken him down there. So the minion helpers we're going to bring are going to provide some structure to get out of it. So, what, Rodney, would be one positive aspect of the situation that you could focus on?
Making sure his finances are all squared away.
Says the finance man. Yes. I love it. Okay, so what are some other things that you could potentially find as, now wait a minute. What's the positive aspect? You've got his finances situated, or you are going to make them, because we want to get to something that's very specific that is positive right now, not in the future.
Sure. So up until this is part of the chaos piece. This is part of what has led to this, because up until this past week, we were under the assumption that all of his paperwork was in and everything was squared away, and that, oh, by the way, he was going to college, no loans, right? No loans, not pulling from any investments that we had, because we do have money away for him and stuff, but saving that for later on. And now we're not at that situation. So now we've got to go to a plan B, right? And get him there, because our biggest thing is that we don't want him to go and then have to incorporate loans and everything else that goes into it, right? So
Okay.
it's something that now that I can control now. Is that
Okay.
That's what you're
Yeah.
getting, right? That's what you want.
Yeah, that's a positive thing that you can be doing to address this. So the next step would be, think about the sequential plan to get him where he needs to be financially. What are the steps that could involve?
Yeah, I think there's going to be some math involved to figure out where's the best place to take it from. And then bringing in the conversation, because both grandparents have college funds for the kids as well, right? And see where's the best aspect, or where's the best method, or moving forward, right? And knowing that it's only a temporary thing, right? As of next year, all of this will be solved.
Mm-hmm. So that's a positive thing to be thinking about as well. This is a short-term problem that's going to be fixed.
Yep.
Okay. What other steps might be involved in that?
Putting things in place to make sure that he doesn't neglect this next year or the next semester, right? So that everything comes into play, and we can enter the next semester, right, without the concern, or the same concern.
Mm-hmm. So what's the one thing you can do right now? Not this minute, but I mean, today, apparently, since he's going tomorrow.
I've already put a reminder in his calendar.
Oh, nicely done.
Right. He's already got a reminder in his calendar, and I just lost it. Oh, there we go. I thought I lost it. Right. And then we actually opted him in for text from the VA finance people, right, and stuff. So he's going to get reminders from them as well. So those are things that we did now. Yeah.
Okay. And I'm wondering, are there any other pieces of the puzzle that you can assemble for your own peace of mind with this?
I don't know. I think this is where I'm at a loss, right? One of the things we did talk about, I mean, I'm in conversation with the reps and stuff, obviously at Hocking, where he's going, right? But again, they're limited at what they can tell you, because he's an adult. And as much as what I'm okay with sending him to college, and if he fails, he fails, right? I'm not okay sending him to college and seeing him fail and then come out with 30, 40, 50, $60,000 in student loans. Ain't gonna happen.
Yeah.
You won't get my money at all. Or his money, right? I mean, that's my thought. So yeah, at this point, I don't know what else I can do to make sure and communicate, and how do you teach a 19-year-old, hey, you got to check your emails twice a week, or at least a few times a week, and stuff like that, right?
So, is there an opportunity there? I mean, you did say you've already put reminders in his calendar. Maybe that's another reminder you could set up as an idea.
To check his email. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So then let me ask you right now, if your teeter-totter was at a 7 in chaos, where is it at this moment?
With implementing some of these other things, probably a 3, a 2 or a 3.
Okay. So we're still not totally balanced. Is there anything, let me ask you this. What's really important here? You've kind of alluded to it, but let's be very articulate. What's really important here?
I mean, for me, it's that he goes and has as much opportunity to have success without the stress, right, of everything else that's out there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And how would you capture the big picture?
Hold on, I'm putting my finger out in front of me.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it's kind of a deep subject to come up with in, 60 seconds, but I'm stalling for time for you here, Rodney.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the bigger picture, like I said, we come to December, and I said and we've always said this, and I'll continue to repeat this. Either he's going to learn something over the next few months, right, or he's going to learn something from the experience that he had over the last few months.
Yes.
That's the bigger picture.
That is the bigger picture. Beautiful. So checking back in on your teeter-totter, you've got in touch with the big picture and what matters, and you've also figured out what you can do structurally to set this up for success. Where is your teeter-totter now?
I mean, we're probably pretty even.
Okay.
Probably healed.
Okay. So what's the one thing you're going to commit to doing? And you got a lot of witnesses here. What's the one thing you're going to commit to doing from this more balanced place?
Not killing him. Oh, that's recorded, isn't it?
Can I share that recording in my class?
Yeah, not killing him.
Yeah.
No, I mean, the reminders are there. I think for sure the other thing I can set up is the other reminders. Those are things that I can commit to that
Okay.
giving him, he'll get irritated by the fact that I send him a text every week to say, hey, did you check your email? Hey, did you check your email? But that's okay. Because I can set that up automated and not have to worry about it, right? So yeah, that, and then just trying to give him the tools, right? Give him the tools to be successful in what he's partaking in here.
Awesome. So I would like to explain just a little bit about what we went through there. And I'm going to share another graphic for you to understand what it was that I was doing, because you too can do this for yourself. So over here in the lower right quadrant, Rodney, in hopelessness, emotional overwhelm, sadness, fear, pessimism, all of the questions that I asked him were based on structure, because structure is what pulls chaos into order. Had he been in rigidity, anger, blame, and denial, I'd have asked questions that were more focused on the big picture. And so that's why I went to the big picture when Rodney said he was still at a 3 on the chaos side. Well, let's go back to the big picture. what really matters here to get to a more balanced place where integration between the two hemispheres, logic, creativity, and intuition, can reign and can help Rodney accomplish more with his son, who's not done what was expected of him. So I want to say thank you for playing in my sandbox, Rodney. And I am certainly happy to answer any questions whatsoever. I did have one earlier. I remembered, Cameron, organizationally, this, I'm not at that stage yet, but it is absolutely organization-wide, where those 7 levels, it's about group effect and organizational effectiveness as much as individual. So if I know I am dealing with someone who is a more left-leaning person, it's going to give me insights into how to interact with them. And when I hear someone who is in, and I'll share this quickly, but this graph that I showed you, the 7 levels, when I hear someone who is really, really frustrated, the way that I can interact with them that will help get them above the line is to come at them from a place of engagement. So how can you contribute to this? The basic enjoyment, focusing on what's right and assets and strengths rather than limitations. So it becomes a wonderful tool for how we engage with each other as well. Did that answer your question, Cameron?
Most definitely, that was poetic. I appreciate it.
Thank you. So,
Any other questions for Diane?
yes, Jeff, I saw that in the the chat. He says, if a business
Rita,
like this, it's going to be disorganized.
yeah, and Rita, I like that suggestion as well. Thank you so much for that too. To send him an email, give him a reason, right, to check his email, right, and stuff.
As someone who went away 4 states away to college, the transition between, and the youngest of 4, so I was really babied. And you go off to college 4 states away, you're not coming home to do laundry, to have a meal. You're not getting any of that, right? Nothing makes you look at your, obviously we didn't really have email at the time because, you know, I'm above a certain age, but nothing starts making you check your email or write little letters to your grandmother quicker than the fact that you realize your mother and your grandmother are the ones that are going to mail you little sweaters or send you cookies, or, right? There's nothing like love and positivity. I always think with what you're going through, Rodney, especially in the really weird world we live in now, safety above everything. And I feel friend calls from girlfriends all the time with kids who are in college, and they do things as adults we're like, this is so dumb. Why did they do that? I had a friend recently, she was so frustrated. Her daughter had a car broken into, and it was because she left her laptop out on the passenger seat of her car. So not only did they break the windows of her car, but they took her laptop with all of her school things on it, right? And she was so frustrated because as adults, we know to not do that. We know if you're leaving it, you put it in the bag, you put it in the trunk, whatever.
Put your junk in the trunk.
Put your junk in the trunk, right? So we know to do that. I would say my parents went with the theory that something dumb is going to happen, and that whether I made the greatest decision or I could have made a slightly better decision, that they needed to kind of give a little, you know, because what I'm experiencing 4 states away and what they would give to my brother who was just at Kent State is going to be a little different. Like they actually, I think, sent me more things because, you know, he's 25 minutes down the road. So, you know, the best part about the go away to college experience is there is a certain amount of safety. It's not as safe as you think, but there's a certain amount of safety involved in there. And if you're not getting what you want out of your kids, you know, being hard on them, especially at this age, they're going to fight back.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I appreciate all the. I mean, there's solace in knowing that he's not going to University of Cincinnati, as I get 2, 3, 4 texts a week talking about shootings and shelter in place and everything else at UC. He's going to be in Hocking. They probably all carry guns anyway because it's in the middle of Southern Ohio, right? And stuff. So, but yeah, you're absolutely right, Rita. I mean, and so, you know, I think we got
Yeah,
count our blessings for sure. But
you can't baby them anymore because they are technically adults. And you also think, what did we all do at that age? I mean, I won't lie. Thursday nights in Atlanta, I was at this crazy club that had foam night dance parties.
no way, not you.
It was like 80s dance party and they dropped foam from the ceiling. Just think of the, you know, germ level of that. Just don't, you know, that's not good decision making. How did I avoid getting meningitis? Who knows, you know? So
We'll talk more about that at the chili cook-off, okay?
Yeah. Rodney, along those lines, something that I think will really give you some comfort and also give your son some comfort is if you can pray for him and just know that, you know, let him know that you're praying for him. Let him know you're praying for his protection and his decision making, and then see how God works it all out for you.
That exactly right, Kurt. Exactly right. Thank you so much for that. Hey, give it up for Diane Kinsella, everybody. Amazing message, right? Life is all about growth, guys. If you, as you know, someone when I first came into the company, I heard it for the very first time that said, if you're not growing, you're dying, right? And I don't know about you, but I'm not ready to do that yet, right? I want to continue to grow. I hope all you want to continue to grow as well. That's why you're here, right? Go out there, right? Learn what you can learn this week, making an impact and a change in someone's life that you never thought to make before, right? And I think Kurt put it great, right? When he said, "Hey, just tell my son I'm praying for him, right? And praying for his safety, right?" I pray that all you guys all have a great week, man, and go out there and make the changes in people's lives and smile at them and do the things that you know is going to make a difference, right? I love you guys. Have a great week, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Appreciate